Start with questions for the players first.
Okay, like I said, we'll start it off for questions for the athletes, Kristen, Aaliyah, or Avina. Make sure you raise your hand. We'll get the microphone over to you. We'll start right here in the middle in the front row, and then we'll head over there to the left.
Hi, Pat Eaton-Robb with the Associated Press. Kristen, congratulations on your MOP award. I don't think anyone would have been surprised if either of the ladies to your right received it. Can you talk about the balance on this team and perhaps how the adversity you faced this year necessitated that?
Yeah, I mean, they could have easily gotten it as well, like you said. Yeah, just throughout the seasons, a lot of our guys had to step up in one place or another. So I feel like, we're used to stepping up when we need to, and I feel like we're just playing our best basketball right now, and we're firing on all cylinders. So I think that's really good for us moving forward.
Over here all the way on the left.
Kristen, this is 4 years in a row you've made a conference all-tournament team, first one since Brianna Stewart to do that, and a short list of players that have made it 4 years in a row all-conference tournament. How important is it to you to play well in the postseason? How much pride do you take in it, and how do you plan on taking it to the next level for the NCAA tournament?
Wow, that's pretty cool. I didn't know that. But yeah, it's very important for me to, step it up in the postseason just because we're really close to our ultimate goal that, we're trying to achieve and that we've been working all year for. So, the intensity goes up, and I just trying to be as aggressive as I can and just keep it going throughout the rest of the season.
I'm going to get the microphone over here to the back row on the right side.
Questions for Aaliyah. It seems like when y'all are on defense and you've been on fire defensively, you have no problem switching on the guards, Kristen switching on the bigs. Can you just talk about the defensive mentality of this team right now, being able to switch all 5 players and do it in an efficient manner?
Yeah, we're pretty efficient on defense, and that's what we hold ourselves to. Being able to switch 1 through 5 is very impactful, and it also shows how aggressive we can be on defense, which can lead to our offensive aggression as well.
I'm going to go here, middle row on the left. Going to have Matt stretch his legs here tonight.
Avina, where do you think the biggest areas of growth for this team have been, either basketball-wise or even just more mentally, from the beginning of the season to now when you guys are being crowned champions?
I think the biggest aspect of growth we've had is just how far we've come with our adversity. Everything that we've been hit with on and off the court, and just now getting to start to have everyone back is a really good feeling, and you can kind of tell in the way that we play. But I think that everything that we've been hit with this year, this team has handled it really well. We went through a stretch where, we're so used to being hit with something. When we weren't, it felt weird. So I think we've handled it pretty well, and it's prepared us for, times like this when it's going to get tough.
Over here, Dom, and then we'll go back row for TV.
Yeah, as for Aaliyah. Aaliyah, can you pinpoint exactly when or where, or if there was any one turning point for you this season where you kind of started playing better and started playing much more like the player that you were last year?
I think for me it was the Tennessee game around that time. It was maybe about 3 weeks into the rest of our season, so I may not have been producing as well as I know I can, but going into the end of the season, I just knew that I had to be more impactful and aggressive for my teammates and to carry that over into the postseason.
Yep, right here in the back row. We're going to get the microphone over to you.
Kristen, you said this was your favorite Big East tournament title or conference tournament title win. What made it so special? Why was this your favorite?
This one is my favorite because this team has gone through so much over the course of this season, like he said, on and off the court, and we had to work so hard, to get to where we are right now. So this one just feels really good, and I'm just super proud to call these girls my teammates and my sisters, and I'm just super proud of my team.
Tim, over here in the front.
So this is for all three of you. Last year, when you won this tournament in this building, there were 0 fans in here. How special was it to win this in front of all of these fans in this building? I mean, it was a very pro-Uconn crowd because of being so geographically close, but yeah, just speak to, how special it was celebrating this championship with people here compared to it being desolate last year.
We'll go down the line. We'll start with Avina, then Aaliyah, then Kristen.
All right. I think we kind of talked about it when we were on stage. Like you said, last year, we're celebrating by ourselves, but we're kind of used to it going through all the COVID stuff throughout the year. But this year, like, them putting a stage out and things like that, we're like, oh my gosh, this is what a real celebration looks like. So like, our fans cheering, all that, it felt really good. Something that we weren't used to as a team, this team now. So it was really cool to experience for the first time together. This team, speaking of, but yeah, it was different, but it was a really, really, really good different.
Yeah, well, for me, being a sophomore like last year, my first year was more like bubble and COVID and all that. But to experience this with my teammates, it was a great feeling, being on that stage together, celebrating and having just the crowd embrace us and feel that energy that we would embrace within ourselves was great.
Well, for me, it was back to normal. Last year was very different and something that I wasn't used to. But yeah, the freshman and sophomore class had never even experienced, the big crowd and stuff. So I was happy that they got to experience that. And the crowd was great the entire weekend. So that was cool.
Anything else for the athletes? Go back over here to Dom.
Yeah, Avina, obviously you've been playing this game all your life, and you're used to being like the star of a team, all of you are. How special is it on this team the way players are willing to sit for each other and, and play maybe a lesser role than they're used to?
I think it's pretty special, and honestly, it's kind of fun to play like that. When you have, whatever 5 are out there, and then, subs are coming in, it's like, it's not really like you can relax on who, for the other team, they can't really relax on who we got coming in, because everyone is like really dangerous. So it feels good and it's different, but I think it just really just prepares you for the next level as well, having to adjust, and you're not going to be the star player on every team that you play on. You're not going to have the same role, so to be able to adjust and sacrifice for things for your team, especially this team, is kind of easy because we all love each other. So it's kind of easy in that aspect. But at the same time, everyone wants to play, everyone wants to contribute, whether it's on the court or on the bench. The bench is a huge contributor to our energy as well. So everyone knows the role, everyone plays their part, and it's been really fun.
I'm going to go back row, 4 seats in, and then we'll come back here to the front row.
Congratulations. This is for all three of you. What type of, Villanova talked a little bit like a revenge factor thing they were concerned about. Like, what did you guys talk a lot about the fact that they had beaten you, and it was one of those things where you just kind of wanted to, stop that part of it?
We'll go the other way this time. We'll start with Kristen and come this way.
No. I'm confused on the question. What is the question?
There was a revenge thing for you, maybe. They beat you. So
Oh.
one of those things like, did that play a factor in the game that you thought, well, that was the anomaly, that wasn't us?
Oh yeah, that was a factor. I mean, when they beat us, that one hurt. So obviously we were coming out with a chip on our shoulder, like we didn't want to lose again to them. So, we just came out hard and played our best, and we just had our foot on the gas the entire game, and we didn't take it off.
Yeah, for sure what Kristen said. They were a big factor. That was a big factor, and we just knew that we had to come out with more intensity and come out better than we did last game.
I think all of us knew in the locker room before the game that it was going to be a totally different game than it was the first time. Like, we all knew it didn't really need to be said. But I think it was just a matter of us coming out there and putting it together. And then I think what else that drove us when their band yesterday was saying that they want Uconn. So we was like, y'all gonna get Uconn.
Yeah. Okay.
Here in the front row on the right side.
Along those same lines, Coach said yesterday that this team finally, in the last month or so, feels like the Uconn of old. Now, you guys had talked about the pressures of trying to live up to that and everybody coming after you. Can you just talk about what it feels like to be that Uconn of old and to be, playing as well as you guys are right now and living up to that standard?
Is that for all three? Vina, sorry.
Yeah, I think none of us had really understood what it meant, to play Uconn basketball. But when Coach said that to us yesterday, I think it all made us feel really good because this is really fun basketball to play. How we've been playing and like the style we've been playing, the energy level, the confidence that this team has right now, it feels amazing. So you kind of understand why Uconn has been successful if this is Uconn basketball, the way that we've been playing. So I'm so happy that we figured it out and we're figuring it out at the right time.
Ladies, thank you. Congratulations.
Thank you.
You raise your hands and we'll get the microphone over to you. We'll start over here, front on the left.
Hey, Gino, congratulations. Aaliyah made it difficult for you to take her off the floor tonight. Can you just address how much energy she brought and she came out to a standing ovation, which she was just fun to watch play tonight?
Yeah, true. When you have choices, you sometimes feel like you have to use all those choices. But just because you have choices, that doesn't mean that you're just going to use them just to use them. You still have to go with what works. And Aaliyah, this whole tournament was a real disrupting factor defensively and rebounding wise, and she just gives us something that Dorka and Liv don't. They give us something that she does, that Aaliyah doesn't. So it's a great combination of the three, and you just got to go with which one has got it going that particular time. And she had it going this whole tournament.
Doug here in the back row, and then we'll come to the middle row.
Hey, Gino. Doug Feinberg, the AP. A two-part question. The first one is just talk about how locked in the defense has been. It seems the last month. I mean, I think you've held 7 of the last 8 to under 50 points, and it seems just you guys are locked in. The second half is how important is it to have 10 days or so to get Paige even more healthy and more in rhythm for you guys?
Yeah. The point I made about these guys having to learn how to play Uconn basketball. Last year, the year before that, our defense was pretty good, but it was pretty good in spite of itself. Like they didn't really commit themselves to wanting to be that good. They had a passing interest in playing defense. And the more I harped on it, the more mad I got that how could you not understand that? How could you not understand that this is how you win championships here at Uconn? And it took a long time. And this group finally did get it. And, I do think Nika had a lot to do with that, for sure. And Aaliyah had a lot to do with that. And the younger guys, Azzy's a good defender. But it's funny how when you have a bunch of really good offensive players on your team, how all the other offensive players all of a sudden fall in love with defense. It's weird, right? when they know you got nowhere to go, but then when they know, yeah, that's always been our philosophy here at UConn anyway. Recruit guys that can score, and then the ones that play defense play, and the ones that don't. And now these guys have finally figured that out. Paige. Yeah, I'm glad we have these 10 days, 11 days, whatever it is. She's got a lot of work to do, you know. She has her good days, she has her bad days. She has her good days mentally, she has her bad days mentally. And my big thing is, get her physically feeling better. But I think she has to get her mind right now because she hasn't been in that mode for 3 months or whatever it is now. So that's going to be job number one, the next 10 or 11 days. And, you know, Paige being Paige, you know, she'll just be super cooperative.
We have some questions here in the middle. We're going to work our way through. We'll start right here.
Gino, you've won 27 conference championships, and I know they're all unique in their own way and rewarding in different ways. Is this one particularly rewarding, given what the team has been through and what we've all discussed with you for the last couple months?
Yeah, I mentioned to him afterwards in the locker room that it takes a lot to get to this point, right? You start playing in November, and you have a goal to win the regular season, and then you got to prove it again over a course of 3 days. And by the time tonight comes around, whether you win or lose, you're completely drained of everything if you did it right. You know, if you did it right, there's really nothing left that you can give. And I think that's the feeling that was there tonight, that there really nothing left in the tank for these guys. And yet they found time to celebrate and enjoy and have fun. They enjoy the competition. They hate practice, but they enjoy the competition. They love to compete, and this one was, when you have this many young players and you have all the stuff that's going on, you know, with the COVID and the injuries and everybody missing games, to have everybody there at one time to be able to participate and to celebrate. Yeah, this one was a lot of fun. And, you know, you beat a team that is really, really hard to play against. People don't realize how hard it is to play against Villanova. I've known that for 37 years. They're much harder to play now than when Harry was coaching. You know, Denise is, you know, she's got these guys playing, you know, and Maddie Segrist, I think, is probably one of the top 10 players in the country. And we haven't played against 10 players better than her. And I don't think we've played against 10 teams, 15 teams max better than Villanova. So whoever said that they're one of the first four out, I'd like to see some team that finishes 7th in Power 5 conference play them in the first round. I would die to see that. I would pay to see that.
Right here in the middle.
That's kind of what I was just going to follow up on speaking of last year, because you had talked about just how sorry. Last year, after winning, you talked about just how fun that was with having such a young freshman class and being able to do that again this year with that youth. But what they've also been able to grow and learn in the time and being able to win this one again.
Every championship brings a new trophy to a kid who's never had one. So I think sometimes people think that it gets, you know, run of the mill, you know, whatever number you used, Mike, 27 or whatever. I always come back to this. It's not 27 for AZ. It's not 27 for Caroline. You know, it's not 27 for, you know, Aaliyah and all the other young players. And to be able to do it without having to rely on Paige, I think that was really impactful for them, how they felt, because there was this perception early on at one point that without Paige, we're not very good. You know, an ex-coach you don't know shit about anything said that recently, and I think we proved her wrong. That without Paige, we don't have any good players.
Go two more. We got back row and then enter in the front.
Congratulations on your championship, Coach.
Where are you? Oh.
There he is, right there. Sorry about.
So you kind of touched on it about Villanova. If you wouldn't mind, could you assess, though, the Big East? Because sometimes I wonder if it gets the respect this year that it deserves. Wasn't sure if you can say a few words about that.
Well, if you're in a conference where you could finish 7th with a 500 record, why would you want to give our conference any respect to a team that's won 20 out of 22? They might take your spot. You know, so there's this self-preservation thing that some of these other schools have, other conferences have. And I've been through it before. You know, I was part of this conference for a long, long time. And we're not where we need to be. I mean, anybody who thinks we are is you know, fooling themselves. We're not where we need to be. We're not where they think we are either, though. But we're not where we need to be. And I think the coaches know that, and I think the quality of play is only going to get better and better. And if you look at us, and I'll just say specifically Villanova and Creighton, what they've done, you know, in Seton Hall to some extent, the way they're playing now. The problem that you have in our league, everybody beats everybody, and so it makes it look like they're not very good, you know. And some other conferences, man, look how strong that conference is. Everybody beats everybody, you know. So I think us being Connecticut, I like to be at the forefront of that and say to some of these other conferences, why don't you play us twice every year, like these teams do? Let's see how you do. And it prepares them for whatever they're going to see. So I'll be really disappointed if Villanova's not in the tournament. I mean, I guess Creighton is because they deserve it. Some of the other teams played their way out of it, maybe. But Villanova's played their way into it. And they have a great style of play. They're fun to watch, and I think they should be in, you know, because there's going to be some leagues that are going to get 2 that deserve 1, you know, and we deserve 3. I thought we had it at 4 for a while, and then, you know, our league's so bad that we started beating each other and knocked a couple teams out, right?
Right here in the front, last one.
Gino, you said prior to the tournament, when talking about how difficult it was to balance all the minutes, that what you hoped in the postseason was that you got a lot of success, played really well without having to rely on one player. How satisfying is it the way you played this tournament? Nobody scored over 16 points in a game.
Yeah, I would like for somebody to get 20, you know, and then everybody else fill in somebody that you can count on to get 20 every night. But the next best thing to that is have 8 or 9 guys all get between 8 and 16, whatever. Yeah, we have players that bring different things to the table, and you've been following us all year. There's been games where 2 players all scored in the 20s and everybody else had 5. And we had to figure out a way to win with just those 2 players. And that's happened a lot. And then there were games where if Caroline didn't get 20, we wouldn't win. And then when we played games where AZ didn't get 25, we wouldn't win. So we've already been down that road. And now I think we're more team-oriented than individual-oriented. We don't have to say, hey, we need these 2 guys tonight or we're going to lose. people have confidence that, hey, if, like AZ had a really bad night yesterday shooting the ball. And today she shot it better. So I like where we are. I like where we are right now.
Coach, we got one more here on the left, last one.
Gino, after the South Carolina loss, a big focus for you all was, or for the coaching staff, was to make the team mentally tougher. And I'm just curious how you think, or where they're at right now going into, or after this tournament and going into the next one.
Yeah, the South Carolina game, I think, it was so early in the season, and I knew that our young players were not going to play well. I just knew it. But I was hoping that our older guys would play great, and neither thing happened. I mean, the older guys didn't play great, and the young guys hardly played and played poorly when they did play. And the way that fourth quarter was played, I truly believe that if we don't fix that, then our chances of winning anything, even this tournament, were going to be slim. And when we came back, we tried to instill in them a little bit of more of a toughness, more of a be able to handle punches better. But we did the same thing against Louisville, So it was something that took us a while to figure out that the fourth quarter is when the games are going to be decided. They're not all going to be 30-point games at halftime. And at practice, things started to get better. But players being players today, they have short memories. They don't remember stuff. They lose in the Final Four, and they go, you're going to have a chip on their shoulder all next year. That lasts till like April 8th. Hey, how'd you guys do in the Final Four? I don't remember. So, they have short memories, and you just got to keep reminding them. And the best way to remind them is have a lot of games in a row where they have to, and that's the way the schedule fell for us. So I'm proud of them. Jamel told me I should trust my team, and I did today, and they rewarded us. So I'm really proud of them.
Coach, thank you.
Thank you, everybody.
Good luck in the tournament.
Thank you. I mean, there's 63 teams better than Villanova in this country.